Okay, good evening, everybody. Could somebody please just send me a chat real quick that you can hear me okay?
We hear you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're good.
Thank you. Hey, again, my name is Eric Fiedler, and I am your son or daughter's geometry teacher, and I'm still admitting people into here. I have it set on my student setting, and so I have them wait in a waiting room, and then I let them in at the same time. So typically we start class about 2 after the hour when we have Zooms, which I'll talk about tonight. Lots of things going to come at you pretty quick tonight, and if I do go too fast, I can send stuff to you really easily. For example, I do have a questionnaire that I'm putting in the chat right now, a link in the chat. That would be great if you could fill it out. If it doesn't work, no problem. I'll send it to you and we'll get it filled out later on. It's just about 3 or 4 or 5 questions about some things that are going to take place in my class. So again, don't fret if it doesn't work out. This is my 30th year of teaching. Overall, I also coach baseball here. Kind of cool. This year, I just ran into in a different Zoom meeting the sister of a young man who played football for me in 2002 that goes to Union High School. I had no idea. I checked on my class list start of the school year and noticed in one of my classes I have the son of a football player that I coached 30 years ago, and just blew me away. I don't know if that person's here tonight, but I'm really excited to reconnect. The reason for this meeting is after first quarter is all new to me, and we had ups and downs like we always do in every class, but some things were a little bit tougher, and I want to get as best as I can my students and parents kind of on the same page of how I want my class to function. I was still answering. I had my third period is also my other. I have 3 geometry classes. My third period class is the one that I had first quarter. Great kids, but I had some questions from those kids week 8, week 9 of the 10-week quarter that just didn't make sense to them, and it kind of dawned on me. I'm a little slow sometimes. Kind of dawned on me, man, I have to connect better with the parents, and so I'm kind of throwing this back at my parents here tonight. Please make every effort you can to connect. If you just want an update, I'll send progress reports home probably 3 times over 10 weeks. We'll have 4 tests over the 10 weeks. But if you need more information back from me, please make use of email, telephone calls, and things of that nature. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The questionnaire is the first thing, and I put the link in there, and some of you said it works, and some people said it didn't. That's all right if it doesn't. I do want to talk, first of all, real quickly about the main key, and it's the bullet number 4 that you see on my screen here, modules. The modules are the key to my class, and we're going to go through one here tonight. There is a misconception that some students have in other classes too, that you get all the answers about what goes on in a particular class from Google Classroom. And I love Google Classroom, I really do. But Google Classroom does not give the whole story to my class like a module does. Skyward, where the grades are, does not give the whole story to my class like the modules do. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to pause for about 30 seconds or a minute if you have any questions right at the beginning about anything. And those people that are just waiting, I would strongly encourage you to do this. Write down this code for Google Classroom. Now, this is for students to join. I'm going to send each one of you an invite for parents to join. But if you hear that your son or daughter is like, man, I can't get into Fiedler's Google Classroom, if you have this code, it will make things a lot better for you. So maybe just write that down on a piece of paper. Here's the second thing. Delta Math is something I make use of, and I'll show you a Delta Math assignment today. This is another code. And I do have currently 3 students, I believe I do have a parent of one of them here tonight, that are struggling to get on to Delta Math. We haven't even started using it yet. I just want my students to be able to access the site. So again, this code for Google Classroom, this code for Delta Math, and I'm going to be quiet for about a minute. I'll check my chat box if you'd like to chat anything to me right now. I can also, if you send me a quick email, I can also send you this this page that you're looking at right now. If that's helpful to you, I'll try and get it to you tomorrow or the next day if you'd like to do that. Also, feel free tonight. My plan is to be done by 7:25 or 7:30 to go ahead and turn your mic on if I'm talking about a screen and it doesn't show up on the screen. This happens with kids all the time. It's like, Fiedler, we can't see what you're talking about. And we just kind of get used to that. That's perfectly okay. Sometimes I'll forget to change the screen to what I want students to look at. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna click on Google Classroom. And like I said earlier, this does not tell the whole story in my class. But what I would like kids to do, my students to do, is to wake up in the morning, and this is what I think they should do for all three of their classes. Some students have four, is to go on in the morning and take attendance for all their classes. They can do that when they wake up in the morning and get that done. The school guidelines is for students that they need to be done taking their attendance by 2 o'clock, because teachers may start taking or sending in their attendance to the office at, shortly after 2 o'clock, and teachers have to have it in by 4:30. So one of the things that I ran into last quarter was, again, I can't say this enough. I have awesome students. I would have some great students say, Fiedler, I forgot to take attendance yesterday. Can you do something? Well, if I don't interact with them, if I don't receive anything from them, if I don't talk to them, there's not much that I can do. Now, is that the end of the world? No, I don't think so. But parents can I step in and say, hey, my son or daughter was working all day long on stuff. That's perfectly fine. But what the attendance office will do is they'll call me and say, hey, did you talk to the student? And I say, no, I didn't. So get the hang of that. So far, attendance this quarter has been good. And let me say this too. I think it's so cool that I have 18 sets of parents here tonight. I have 57 geometry students total. And in our Zoom meeting on Monday, I had 44 out of those 57 students come to the first Zoom meeting of the year. Every teacher around here will say, yeah, I have a hard time getting kids come to Zoom. Kids, and I said at lunch, I go, hey, I had 44 out of 57. They go, what'd you do differently? I said, nothing. I just have great kids. So I think that's really super cool. All right, so now I'm going to go on Classroom. I'm going to go to the classwork page. And here is a place that students can take the module. Can somebody turn their mic on right now? Can you see the page that says attendance right now? Are you looking at the same thing?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so they can take attendance here, but starting next week, they're gonna take their attendance straight out of the module. Okay, everything goes to the module next week. They'll come, and you can come to this page every once in a while to see certain things, but again, you want the whole story, go to the module. Okay, so I'm gonna go right down to the module. This is the module for week 1. I was kind of hoping, let's see, that I could get the module for week 2, so give me just a second because I put that away today. So hang on just a moment.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm on my phone, and this is my first time doing a Zoom on the phone.
Awesome, welcome.
Thank you, but I don't think it's over to any of the things that you're showing on the screen.
Okay, so here's what I would like to do with that. If you send me an email, I'll send you this presentation. So even though you don't see it, I'll send you the presentation. And then if that doesn't make sense, I'd be happy to have another Zoom or a quick phone conference with you. That'd be great. Will that work?
Okay, because I usually do it on my computer.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, thank you.
You betcha. All right, so let me get, I'm gonna stop sharing for just a moment. I'm gonna put something else up. Okay, so here it is. And this happens all the time. Right in the middle, I'm doing something, my computer decides to go slow. That's awesome. There it is. Okay, can you see geometry module number 2? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so starting next week, okay, and here's my goal. I want to get all parents an invite to Google Classroom so you can access this as well. And I'm really saying, I'm going to tell you this, if you didn't do this first quarter, it'd be great if you had a goal of doing this second quarter, and just tell them, blame it on me. Just say, if, son or daughter says, why are you in my face about this? Just say, throw me under the bus. Fiedler told us to. And see if that works. It may not, but tell them anyway. Fiedler tells us that he really wants more parent involvement stuff. So I'd like to see the module that you're working on this week. I'm going to tell you right there, if I could do that with every one of my kids, there would have been about, I don't know, in the last 2 weeks, seriously, the last 2 weeks, probably about 10 less interactions with students about where to look for stuff. And I'm happy to do it. What I'm concerned about is when a student is asking me week 8, where do I find this assignment? There's no way that they're doing as well as they can possibly do. And so if we can work together on that, I think that would be great. So on page 1, this is where they take attendance starting Monday. They're going to every day. They'll just go right here. They'll click on it. They'll fill out the attendance form every single solitary day. Going on to page 2, and you're going to see some dates may be wrong here. I'm going to put out these modules on Friday at around 4 o'clock. So when I go through this, I just want to give you an example of what they're going to see. You might see some dates from first quarter and some things that just aren't quite right. Maybe you might even say, hey, there's going to be a holiday on Labor Day or something. I don't know. I haven't looked at it super carefully. I did change a few things on it, though, for this meeting tonight. Okay, so learning targets, get to page 4, and this is where it all starts. There's usually a page that tells them what to do throughout the week, just kind of an overview. And here's the overview. And at the top, it says this. I know you can read it, but I'm going to read it to you. There are 4 learning tasks for this week and 4 days in this week to complete them. You may want to do 1 each day. I would say this, first quarter, most of my students did it. They spent 2, maybe 3 days doing it. Some students will do 1 a day, just like normal class. It depends on the learning style of the student. And one of the barriers that I have is I don't know too many of my students, so I don't know what works best for them just because of this distance learning situation. So as the parent,
We lost volume. We can't hear you.
someone just chatted me and I see that my sound cut out. Can you hear me now again?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the chats up there, everybody. And that happens in class almost every other day too. And it's awesome because students will turn their mic on, Fiedler can't hear you, or their chat like I had 3 parents just do right now. That just happens all the time. I kind of think it's something in my voice. I think when I hit a kind of high pitch, my sound wants to cut out because it's tired of listening to me. But I'm going to keep going, even if you're tired of listening to me. Okay, so when they click on task 1, it will take them to these videos. Now, we have made these videos in collaboration with everybody who teaches geometry here. So they will not always see this great looking mug that you're looking at right now. Sometimes they'll see some other, I was just kidding. Sometimes they will see some other teachers presenting videos. Okay. Now, a big celebration for me today, or Monday it was. I put out an assignment and I said to them, I go, guys, you can send me an email and I can work out a problem for you. I can send you the problem, or you can come during office hours, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and I'll work with you one-on-one. I had a student send me an email, say, Fiedler, can you show me a solution to a certain problem? And it took about 2 minutes, and I made a video and I sent it to him. And guess what happened? About 3 minutes later, another great student of mine asked for the very same question. And so I just forwarded that video to them, and I took care of 2 students really quick with that. It works really well if students are willing to communicate. Okay, so that's task 1 for next week. They will go over, and I have you guys covering up this next link over here. On the right, it says quizzes, and this quizzes is not necessarily always a quiz. Sometimes it's just some sort of assessment to see if they get it for the student. Okay, and so every task kind of has a did you get it component to it. And I think I might talk about quizzes briefly later on. I really want to talk about Delta Math. Quizzes is kind of like a little multiple choice quiz game. Okay, so here's task 2 for next week. Again, they have videos to watch. They need to watch the videos first. There's a lot of instructions. If you remember your geometry days when you were in school, I certainly do, and I'm probably older than most of the people in this room. There's a lot of notation and a lot of definitions that come really early on, and they really need to watch the videos. Okay, and so then let's see, I want to go quickly to Delta Math right now just to show you what the students will get to. Again, make sure that they are signed up for Delta Math. Okay, so there it looks a little bit different. This is my teacher access page. And again, my computer's working a little bit slow here. So it looks different to them. They won't see the exact same thing. They'll go into deltamath.com by just clicking on the link. They'll sign into my class with the code that you saw on that one screen that students all tried to do on Monday. Let me show you what an assignment looks like real quick. And I have to do it a little bit differently than the students will because they can't edit the assignments. So hang on just a moment. Oops. All right, still working on it. Okay, here we go. All right, can someone turn their mic on too? Can you see this where it says Mr. Fiedler, segment addition postulate?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, so this is an example of a question that they'll see on the Delta Math assignment. So now here's the cool thing about this, and I don't remember which one of my colleagues stumbled onto this site a couple of years ago, but it's really kind of grown throughout our school. So I select specific problems to the standards for geometry. And then one of the things that they do to see how well they got it is they do what's called a Delta Math assignment. So they'll get a question like this. And so it has a lot of notation here that they're going to get really quick. Then it asks them to submit an answer. Now, if they're wrong or if they don't get it, the cool thing is they can watch a help, click on this link right here and watch a help video and then try it again until they get it. It's really cool. The very, very successful, well, I should say, the students that really, really work really hard for that really high grade in my class, I watch them repeat, watch videos, and repeat until they get it. And it's really, really good kind of routine practice for them to see if they get stuff. And if they still don't get it, then I can count on them to ask me to try and make it make sense to them. So Delta Math is a key component. Now, remember what I said at the start. If they just look at Google Classroom, there's not much about Delta Math on there. And why isn't there? Because when they do an assignment on Delta Math, it goes to a site. It doesn't go to my Google Classroom. I think that's more work for students. So go to the modules, go to the modules, go to the modules. Okay, I'm checking chat right now to see if there's any questions about what I've covered so far. Okay, I'm going to stop the share and we'll go back to the agenda.
So with being on a phone, how do you, I don't see like an option to do chat on a phone. So is that not available?
Yeah, it may not be. I don't know because I've never done a Zoom on a phone. And so I'm perfectly happy. This is, and again, this is what my students do. I'm perfectly fine with you turning your mic on and talking to me. That's not, I think in the high school Zoom world, that's not considered an interruption. That's considered a helpful thing to do. And students the kids get really good at it really quick. And they rarely talk over each other. So yeah, just turn your mic back on tonight.
Okay, because for me, this is my first time doing a Zoom on my phone.
Yeah.
And I usually make my boys do all of their Zooms on their Chromebooks.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Because if they are doing a Zoom on their phone, then I don't want them to be interrupting anything because it's just going to take longer and more distraction. Yeah,
and and a lot of them will choose to chat, but it's not considered I don't know, abnormal for students to get on their phone. and say, hey, Fiedler
Okay.
can't hear you or something like that, especially when it's my mic cutting out. Because when
Well,
my mic cuts out, I don't always check the chat.
with my 8th grader at EMS and his English teacher that she communicated so much with everything, and we were doing online things with the video on, and we cut out all the time,
Yeah.
and she said, she's like, turn off the video. And
Yeah.
then she felt like that was maybe part of it cutting out, to where
Yeah.
she would me and say, could you please have Aiden just call me, or like call me. We do it over our cell phone.
Yeah, and that's a good suggestion. And that's turn off the sound, turn off the videos are all things that we try sometime when we have poor connection. I mentioned the
Okay.
quizzes real quick, and I've talked about attendance. I want to go down to this bullet down here, the Zoom meetings and office hours on Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll close up with that. It looks like it's 7:25, so I think I'm going to make my 7:30 goal for you guys to not keep you, because I know that you probably had a long day. The Monday and Wednesday Zoom meetings, I really want you to solicit your help in having my students attend those. Okay, because of some connection issues and some other things that take place, saying the next thing like this is required is sometimes a challenging thing for me to do, because I have some kids that will freak out if they can't get on, or they have horrible connection issues, or things happen. So strongly encourage. In fact, kind of keep up with them. Say, hey, are you going to Monday, Wednesday Zoom meetings? Because Fiedler thinks you really need to do that. I really want to build community and get to know my students, especially much better than I did quarter number one. I mean, it's always, I felt that as a strength of mine, is getting to know the kids in my class. It was very challenging to do that first quarter because so many different things were new. So on Monday and Wednesdays are my more formal Zoom meetings. Fourth period meets from 9 to 10, fifth period from 10 to 11. We're usually done about 9:50 and 10:50. Okay, and they come in. We do some sort of activity that I believe helps them with inside of my class and beyond my class. I call them rich tasks, and that's what takes place on Monday and Wednesday. Now, Tuesday, Thursday, this is that office hour idea I want you to get. I don't think I was ever able to take advantage of office hours until I got to college. We're asking kids to do this a little bit earlier than I certainly did. I still remember the first time I walked into a professor's class when I was a freshman in college. I felt like I was about ready to die. It's like, how can I possibly do this? I've always been able to do all of my classes. Well, now that we're in this distance remote learning environment, it's helpful for kids to get immediate answers. Tuesdays and Thursdays during those office hours, they can come anytime they want, ask their question, watch me work a question, and then they can leave. They don't have to wait for any formal presentation or anything. So I've had some office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays that have lasted as short as a minute and a half. I've had some last longer. I had one kid, I remember it week 7 of first quarter, nice young man. And we worked together for about 20, 30 minutes. It might have even been longer. I don't remember. Then there's the other option. Send me an email. Figure out how to do number 2. Can you show me a solution to that? Send them a solution to how to do that. Okay, so are there any questions about the difference between Monday, Wednesday Zoom meetings, the more formal ones, and the Tuesday, Thursday office hours? Just waiting and checking my chat. Now, the Tuesday, Thursday office hours, we do have some general times for classes. So, for example, if your son is in my 4th period class on Tuesday, Thursday, 9 to 10 o'clock, even though the office hours go 9 to 11, 9 to 10 is the best time to come in. If they go 10 to 11, that technically is their 5th period class, and it's not gonna be looked upon really well by the 5th period teacher if your son or daughter is getting questions from Fiedler when 5th period is going on. But however, there's also those situations where some 5th period classes don't run a Zoom meeting on a Tuesday or a Thursday, then of course they're welcome to come Thursdays. I'm really excited about Tuesday and Thursdays if I can get my students to take advantage of that. Man, Mom, Dad, I don't get anything. Well, pick the question you don't get. I don't get number one. I don't get anything. Well, then go see Mr. Fiedler on Tuesday and Thursday during his office hours. Then you're going to get this. I've been doing this for a long time. Just me and Mr. Fiedler? That sounds about as fun as getting the flu. Well, then, all right, then do this. Write Mr. Fiedler an email saying you don't get how to do number one. Could you send me a solution to help? Okay, and so those are the options that I really like you to help me encourage my kids to try to do to help them to understand geometry. The first 2 weeks, the first 3 weeks of geometry, this week was kind of an algebra review type week. Starting next week, the first 2-3 weeks, they got a lot of definitions and terms coming at them, and it can be tough and borderline overwhelming. I can help slow that down if they'll come to office hours and if they'll come to send me some emails, because I can give them some of the presentations that in a shortened form that they'll normally see in class, and we can make up for the fact that we're doing distance learning instead of in-person learning. Okay, let's see. I think I can go to the next page here. I hope so. Yep. I'm going to leave that on your screen. Please feel free to email me when you need to, or if you need certain pieces of information that I either went too quickly through tonight or you would like to hear again. And I'm going to go ahead and monitor the chat right now, but I'm done with my presentation. And again, thank you so much for coming tonight. We ended up with getting 19 sets of parents here, so a third of my parents are here tonight. And I just can't tell you, it shows with my students. Like I said at the beginning, if you're late to the presentation, on Monday's Zoom meetings, I had 44 out of 57 students come. I think that's pretty cool, and I think that's pretty reflective of students at our school getting, hey, I kind of need to engage now because 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, it's tougher with all the information that's coming my way. All right, so I'm sticking around a little bit. Thanks again for coming. You're welcome to leave and have a wonderful evening. You're also welcome to stay and either turn on your mic, or I think it'd be better maybe at the beginning if you want to private chat me some questions. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. It's a really good question. I hope that parent's still here. Mrs. Brower or Mr. Brower or Mrs. Brower.
Yes.
They get the link. They get the link in Classroom.
Okay. Thank you.
They'll go to the Classroom page, and every morning that I'm having a Zoom or office hours, I put the link into Classroom. So they go to the Classrooms page, click on it, and that will get them into office hours or my Zoom meeting. Uh-oh. Oh, thank you. Yep, thanks for coming.
How do I get out again? Do I just stop video?
Just hit leave.
Where does it say? Oh, okay.
My lights just clicked off because I wasn't moving around enough. Dark in here. Can I help anybody? Or we can ask me questions. If you want to private chat them, you're welcome to do that.
Hi, are the Zoom meetings recorded?
Thank you.
Are the
Rachel.
Zoom, yes?
Oh God, that's the weirdest thing. So my sound just went from my computer to my AirPods.
Oh,
You did it a while ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's something every day. I don't know why that would happen. That one has never happened before.
are the Zoom meetings are they recorded?
For of kids,
No, yeah, your Zoom meeting with the kids, is that recorded?
yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
What's your input on that?
Just if you miss the meeting, you can always go
Oh,
back.
I
and
see. I see. Yeah, yeah, I usually do record them. I don't post them though, but I keep them because they all compile in the same spot. So that's not a problem if Tanner ever misses a meeting and he wants to see it. You can just fish it out. It doesn't take much more than 30 seconds.
Oh, good, okay, because I know he missed Monday because he didn't know the Google Classroom sign-in, so,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
No problem. I don't think he needs to see that one again, but if he does, and the main thing this week is the algebra portion of module 1. There's some geometry at the end of it, but I told the kids during the meeting, if you get it done and you want to try the geometry part of it, great. If you don't have time to do that, fine. I just kind of want them to get to know me and remember some things about algebra, and then we're going to jump in head first next week.
Okay, that sounds great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right, we look
All
forward
right.
to having you.
Oh yeah, you know what? I actually didn't realize until like a couple weeks into September that I had Tanner. That's awesome. Do I have permission to tease him as much as I tease Tristan?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. He's gonna get both barrels in.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I won't tease him that much.
Okay, well, have a good evening.
All right,
Thank
you
you.
too. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody, I'm going to end the meeting unless you're waiting around to talk to me. Thank you for coming. Oh, I see questions are coming. Got it. I'm waiting.